Hello, and welcome to Destiny Digits. This is going to be a life path reading for life path number 22. So, something I haven't been saying that I need to say, um, and I'll explain what these are. Something I haven't been saying that I need to say is that your life path number talks about an opportunity that you have available to you in this lifetime. So the traits that your life path number gives you are present with you at birth, right? And they prepare you to achieve this specific opportunity. And so I'm going to pull 3 cards from my oracle deck. We'll take note of the bottom and then we'll move on. So as 22s, you are master builders. What does that mean? 22s are creative, inventive, and master building. So, 4s are builders, but 22, 2 and 2 is 4, but, master numbers, they possess an excess amount of energy, right? Which makes them a master number. And so they have to carry a little more weight in this life because they are capable and able to achieve, the task that this energy gives them. And so master builder, this is like people who have the ability to build and create something that will not only be present in this lifetime, but even when their physical body has perished, it is there for generations to come. And so let's go ahead and just talk about these. So the first oracle card that came out is Inner Peace. I think this is such a beautiful card. It has 2 koi fish and I just love it. First card is Inner Peace. So Spirit is asking you to find that sweet spot within yourself and really allow it to comfort you. Inner Peace, and then we have Change. And under this is Illumination. Bottom of the deck, we have Power. Okay, so far, I feel like 22s, I feel like you are understanding aspects of yourself. You are understanding the power that you have, that you possess. And not only, I don't know why I just had this flash, but I don't know if anybody has seen, I think it's called Raising Dion on Netflix. It's about a little boy who, has powers that were passed down to him through his father, who is no longer living. But yes, right. And so, I feel like you are tapping into your power, but you're also understanding all the different things that it can do, right? And so if understanding the totality of yourself and your energy is a little scary at times or uncomforting, or you're not able to find, peace in the outside world or people that understand you, or, a place or a person where you can go to find comfort, Spirit is saying that place exists within. Under Inner Peace, we have Change. So something within you is, or outside of you, is shifting. And so you are going to see things that you haven't seen before, experience things that you haven't experienced before. And I feel like most of this is taking place inside of you. Underneath Change, we have Illumination. So something that was not apparent is now going to become known to you. And again, I feel like this is about you and your own energy and your responsibility here in this life, and kind of like the mission that you have been chosen to complete and to create. Yes, so master number 22s, you guys are master builders. So now what I'm doing is I have 3 oracle cards. We talk about the bottom of the deck, and then I pull 3 energetic cards from the numerology deck I created, and then we take note of the bottom, and then we do a 9-card box spread using tarot. Okay, so next to Inner Peace, we have introspective and intuitive. These are high vibrations of 7. Next to Change, we have low vibes of 6, boring, overly protective, savior complex. And then next to illumination, we have critical and overly talkative, right? So at the bottom of the deck, we have unavailable, controlling, arrogant, low vibrations of 8. All right. So just so far, I feel like there is a way to use and misuse our own power. Okay. And part of what is changing, shifting, and being shown to us is exactly that. So I mentioned the 9-card box spread. I like to use a box spread because I like to see how the cards communicate with each other, and you can read it in many different ways. So at the center of the box is the Hierophant. And the Hierophant is like the conduit between the physical and the spiritual world, right? This could be like a spiritual counselor, but nonetheless, I feel like this is a sign that this is a spirit thing that's happening in your life. This is by divine design, whatever it is that you are currently experiencing. So whether you are morphing into this Hierophant energy, or whether I really believe that's what it is, honestly. All right, I'm going to keep pulling. So we have the Hierophant at the center, which immediately talks about the presence of the divine, and what we are being called to do and called to see, in whatever it is we are experiencing. To the left of the Hierophant, we have the 5 of Cups. And this is about, focusing on something that no longer is. This is about that deep grief, sadness that we feel, the remorse we feel when something has been lost, something that we cherished is no more. And so in front of this subject, we have 3 cups spilled, and I see someone that's just kind of reflecting on, what those cups meant to them. And in this space, they are unable to see what is still available to them. So five of cups in numerology, 5 is a number of freedom. It talks about change, but it also talks about restless energy, right? And so 5s are very good when it comes to, that was a little bit too many. 5s are really good when it comes to changing. And so in this row, there is something within you that needs to shift. And this is this is, destined. This is what you are being called to do. And remember, all of this is about understanding how to use your power and tap into your full potential. All right, so we'll have one more card to pull, and then our 9-card box spread will be complete, and we will take note of the card that's on the bottom. Okay, Page of Cups. Okay, and at the bottom we have Knight of Wands. And that'll go right here. Okay. So I like to read the middle row is the current reality. I like to say that this bottom row is something that we brought to this reality. It could be something known to us or unknown. It could be something, that's lying dormant in our subconscious, something we're not seeing, but this is something that we already have been through or experienced that has kind of propelled us into this middle row. And the top row is kind of like what we're being called to do, pushed to do, what we're thinking about. But nonetheless, it's what we are growing towards. So the middle row is about change, and the numerology card says boring, overly protective, savior complex. Okay. And so let's just talk about the energy. So 6s are very loving, nurturing, responsible people, but sometimes they can cross the boundary so much that they feel responsible for others, and they attempt to do for others what they really should be able to do for themselves. And once you get into this space of walking in the shoes of another or carrying the burdens and the responsibility of others, not only do you lose, the the understanding of your own mission, but you're also interrupting the space of others for them to truly walk their path as they rightfully should. And so, this five of energies, there's loss here, there's regret, there's grief, there's remorse. And sometimes it is these situations that we experience change. Sometimes the best type of change is the change that affects us emotionally, right? And this you can apply this energy to any aspect of your life. It doesn't have to be about a specific thing. But nonetheless, it could be because we've experienced some type of loss that we now feel overly protective of the things that we cherish, right? And we could be living a very uneventful, boring life because we don't want to take a risk and we don't want to lose more. Or, we don't want to go through this energy again. And I believe that spirit is calling you to make a shift within inside of yourself. One, to move beyond the grief, but two, to really use your power in a way that doesn't keep you burdened, right? Use your power in a way that livens you up to see the beauty in life. And there are things that happen to us and around us and through us that we cannot control. And we are not supposed to control them. We are supposed to experience them. And the way we respond to that experience is probably more important than the actual experience that happened. It's really our response. And our response tells us where we are and how much further we possibly need to grow. So we go from the Five of Cups energy to this Hierophant, right? And so if you did experience loss, maybe you were being pushed, sometimes it's these situations that push you to spirit, that push you to realize something bigger, greater is in control. And no matter how much you attempted to be that savior, that is beyond your ability, right? Something greater is governing us, is governing this thing we call life, right? And so we go from loss, we move into this Hierophant, this spiritual being, this understanding that the divine is at play and has a hand in all things. And so we can ascend to this person that understands both worlds, or we can find somebody in this physical world that can kind of bridge that gap for us and act as a sounding board or as wise counsel for us as we attempt to rectify this emotional grief that we're almost stuck in. And so, once either we become this Hierophant or we seek this out, then we have the energy of the King of Swords. And so the King of Swords is somebody that is a lot more cerebral than they are emotional. So this is somebody that's logical, rational. And the sword represents their ability to cut through the things that are unclear, untrue, and things that just don't support, a stable or a life of integrity, right? And so anything that's foggy, anything that is blocking our vision, the King of Swords has the ability to see through it and to clear it out in order to make things just visible to us. It helps us get through things. And so I think this is the change that you are being called to do. And if the energies of the six, these low vibrations of six, are a space that you've been in, that is the exact shift that you have to go through. No matter how painful that loss is, you are being called to respond in a way that propels you beyond it. And there's no time frame. It happens as you allow it to happen, but you are an active participant in that taking place. So below this, the first card we have is illumination. So you could have been made aware of something that shifted you into this change, right? So, prior to this overly protective energy, we have a low vibration of 3. And 3s are very joyful and fun-loving people. But when they're in the lower vibration, they can be very critical, right? And so they're social butterflies. But then we have this energy of being overly talkative. And this is like not knowing where your space begins and someone else's ends. This is kind of like, the overly talkative person is not conscious of others around them, right? And this energy of being critical, sometimes we criticize the things that we don't understand or that we are fearful of understanding. Things foreign to us, we tend to reject them and criticize them because we aren't willing to grow beyond our comfort zones to really embrace and understand things that are not natural to who we are. And so you could be learning that aspect about yourself, or you could be dealing with a situation where you were on the opposite end of that energy. And that's a very oppressive energy to have to go against. So underneath this 5 of cups, we have the 3 of swords. And this is 3 swords piercing a heart. And there's clouds, and it's gray, it's gloomy, it's rain. And this is just pretty much like a deep cleansing as a result of pain. Sometimes this could have been betrayal, deceit, something that has caused a heart to be broken, severely pierced. And recovery is not immediate. This will take time. And so if a broken heart, if someone has harmed you in a way that has put you in this 5 of space, Spirit is saying you have the strength, even if it doesn't feel like that. You actually do have the strength, and you can find the strength in the divine, and you can also find the strength in wise counsel. But within you, you are spirit. You have the ability to tap in, to understand, to let go. You know what I mean? This seems to be like a very major situation that has taken place, right? And so this illumination that happened, it happened through pain. But pain is like, life is full of lessons, but pain is like an expedited lesson, because when you are hurt, you are immediately shocked into you're shocked into something. And it forces you to it's like a knee-jerk reaction. Like, you have to, like, nothing will ever be the same after this takes place, and that's what I mean. Like, it's a fast lesson. This is like a fast track to personal growth. So we have the heartbreak, we have the strength. The strength card can talk about like taming our shadow side or accepting our shadow side. And the way we tame and accept and it can be ours or others, but the way we accept the darker aspects of life, it's not through aggression, but it's through gentleness. It's through gentleness. And so if you have to be gentle with self as you go through this, that is what you could be called to do, to forgive yourself. And you really are a lot stronger than you know, but sometimes you don't know your own strength until you're tested. And remember, at the bottom of the deck for the oracle cards was power. And if you really want to know your power, it is situations like this that you have no other choice except to see how you respond in these situations. How you get through tells you the depth of who you are. It shows you what you are capable of. So after the strength card, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And this talks about somebody who is like very abundant. They have this, you can say, the Midas touch, where anything they turn materializes to something valuable. And so you can, in terms of the Midas touch, you can touch this pain and you can make it fruitful for you. But remember, you are a master number. So what you go through is not only necessary for your path and your mission, but it's necessary because you are a born teacher. You're a born vessel for others to pattern their lives and their behaviors after. Not that they copy you, but it's the way in which you walk that teaches others. Right? And so the way that this queen, gender matters not, the way that this queen coddles and holds this pentacle with such admiration is the way that you need to respond to self and to this situation is very similar to how this lying is being held. Somehow you have to turn this into something meaningful, valuable. Okay. Now, above this queen is the King of Swords, and we already talked, there's a truth. There something has been, this illumination card in the King of Swords. That's what the swords do. It cuts through BS. It cuts through the fog, and it brings to light the things that are needed, that are necessary, in order to push forward, no matter what that situation is. So we have this experience of being illuminated through pain. We have this energy of changing something about ourselves as a result of this pain, and understanding that the divine is a part of this, and understanding that we can master something inside of ourselves through the pain and through the loss, right? And then that pushes us to this top space. And the first card we get to is the Oracle card, which talks about inner peace. Inner peace. And putting the pieces of yourself back together is how you begin to establish and solidify inner peace. It's something that you have to build. It's not something that is just there. It's something that has to be built. And I think that many, many, many of us can agree that since we were children, our inner peace was slowly broken and taken away, right? And so it's these experiences that teach you how to rebuild, right? Rebuild yourself, your spirit, your soul, your heart. And how do we do that? Introspective, intuition. So spirit is saying to go within. And when you go within, it's because you have the answers. This kind of reminds me of the Hermit card. This is like stepping away and finding like solitude. And really like just silencing out the noise, the opinions. This is really about self, is what I'm seeing here. This is something that you are being called to do on your own for your own growth, right? And it is when you make it through these experiences that you will understand the extent that your power really, really can go. So above this grief, this loss, we have the Eight of Wands, which is like forward movement. This is like a momentum that you can capitalize on, okay? And then above the Hierophant, we have the Three of Wands. So the two is planning. The Two of Wands is like, making a plan, looking out and deciding, what do I want? Where am I going? What will I do? And the Three is, I've made that plan. I've done something. Now I'm waiting on my ships to arrive. I'm waiting to see, once you capitalize, now you're waiting on seeing the return. And then after that, above this King of Swords, we have the Page of Cups. And the pages are, you have page, knights, kings, and queens. So pages are like that initial spark, that message, that download you get from spirit. The knights are when you actually pursue that energy. And then the kings and queens are when you have mastered that. Right. So pages are almost like another ace. So you've gotten some type of offer, some type of message, right? And it has the ability to be fruitful. Fish talk about abundance, being plentiful. And you have the ability to do something with this. And this could be something that rejuvenates your emotional space, right? But you're not yet refined, right? Pages are not kings and queens, nor are they knights. This is kind of like that clumsy energy. So you may not be as comfortable restarting or accepting or offering something of yourself. But if you operate from a place within you that is at peace and stable and comfortable, that will prepare you to then operate on the outside world when it's time to engage with others. Now, at the bottom of the tarot, we have the Knight of Wands, which is like the energy of pursuing something that you are passionate about, right? This is like chasing the fire that burns within you fearlessly. And so none of what happened has held you back in any way. And you know that you are operating in your power when you use pain to propel you forward. Now, something to be mindful of is at the bottom of the deck for the numerology energies, we have unavailable, controlling, and arrogant. So as the Knight of Wands, when you are on this horse and you are going, remember, when we control, it's really a way to protect ourselves, right? That's how we protect ourselves. And so when you fearlessly go on in this newfound power that you have learned that you possess and you have the ability to control, use it in a way that is stable, and use it in a way that attracts others and doesn't, repel them. Right? And so be mindful as a master number 22 when you are building, and that could be anything. It could be building families, relationships, companies, website. It doesn't matter. But be mindful of how you present this passion of yours, how you offer yourself to others, and make sure that you are open for response. Sometimes pain can shut us down and close us off. But if we are operating from a positive, peaceful, intuitive vibe within ourselves, that will attract things, and it will help us as we build and self-regenerate. 22s, peace be with you. I hope that something in here has been useful to you. And I thank you so much for being here. And I hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.